All right, what's up? What's good, wonderful people? Welcome back to another edition of Chauncey Vision. This is the show where I talk about all the movie and TV ish. I'm talking about action, comedy, sci-fi, horror, you name it. I'm here to proclaim it. I'm here with my bro, my co-host, Mr. Underground Blur King Chicago himself, Mr. Corey Green. We're
What's up,
here.
everybody?
We are here to talk about the long-awaited sequel to the anticipated 2018 Black Panther, the one and only Wakanda Forever. And this is something we've been waiting for quite some time. This is something we've been wanting to check out. We've, constantly talked about it ever since the first Black Panther, even ever since the, last couple of appearances with Infinity War and Endgame to see what could and what would happen in the sequel and such. And then when, that trailer got bestowed upon us about maybe a few months back or a couple months before the actual release, it was just a lot of mixed emotions and stuff. So let's matter of fact, let's just go ahead and talk about how the trailer rocked. Like when I saw this trailer, man, I was like, I have mixed emotions with it also because, sadly we don't have Chadwick Boseman with us anymore. He's still with us in spirit or whatever because the love and admiration we have for his portrayal of T'Challa slash Black Panther, and just seeing just the little instances of his appearances of imagery around Wakanda and such, it strikes a chord emotionally for a lot of folks who love this character, both in the movie and of course, fans such as ourselves, and what he's brought to the table. And then just to see other things happening in that trailer too, how everybody's heartbroken or beside themselves about losing T'Challa, but yet they're trying to do what they can to push on, and then to deal with this new threat that's come upon us, which is in the form of Namor, or Namor as he's pronounced,
More.
movie. So it's like, what were your thoughts in terms of the trailer overall?
Um, man, it hit me right in the feels right off the bat. Being a fan of the first film,
Right.
and being a fan of Chadwick, and we all love Chadwick, and I'm kind of glad Marvel, Kevin Feige, and Ryan Coogler made the decisions that they made, with the direction that they went, and kind of addressing it right away. And I know a lot of people were really on the fence or weren't happy with before and after the film came out.
Right.
I still believe they made the best decisions given the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I still had total faith in Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler delivering something. Even the trailer itself was very emotional. The very first one,
Right.
you know, you know, putting grown men to tears, and Angela Bassett again making grown men lose it from a trailer. Like
I mean,
her powers was felt in the trailer.
I mean,
Didn't get to the movie yet. We felt
right, exactly. And of course, we're gonna go before we even try to go into the movie like that. Just some of the words that she, expressed in that trailer alone. It's like, hey, I lost everything. I lost my husband. I lost my son. My people are, beside themselves. It's like, how much more y'all want to go up against us? You know what I mean? And it's like when she just hitting you with, not, of course, not those exact words, but a summarization of those words. It's just like, damn, just it's like, Oscars, what the hell are you all doing? Give this woman her flowers, give her that damn
now.
trophy now. Stat. Damn, all this lifetime achievement stuff. Of course, she's obviously deserving of that, but no, give her
Like,
her stuff now.
I believe a nod is in order. If she don't even win, if it's an Oscar nod, I'm like,
Man,
it just needs to happen. Here's an Oscar nod, like in a superhero movie. Yeah.
hey, if Heath Ledger can do it, so can
Right.
she.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. But even after the couple trailers that we got, even if we got glimpses of people, like we already mentioned, the more we also got glimpses of, kind of a current popular character in the Marvel Comics, Riri Williams, making her MCU debut. We had, other people involved. Baku was back on the scene. Everett Ross is back on the scene as well. You got Nakia back in there. So it's like you got everybody kind of brought back together or whatever like that from this unfortunate tragedy to, just bring the heat like they never brought it before. And then when it comes to this movie or whatever, it's like it was on a whole nother level. It was on a whole nother level to me. The action was truly there. The action was there. I mean, during Melage, when they show up, they show up. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it's like, even in small doses, like i.e. Falcon and Winter Soldier. When Dora Milaje show up, step aside.
Right.
Because they're gonna put you in your place and make you feel small. Ask John Walker.
Sam did warn John Walker. It's like, you better off fighting Bucky and fighting Dora Milaje. You just give them what they want and just sit down.
Right.
You're not Mr. on that level. You just not. You just not.
But you saw what happened when you didn't listen. So yeah. And just seeing how everything is put together. I mean, Wakanda still looks phenomenal the way it does. Just all the scenery that's been brought up, whether it's just within the city, whether it's on certain parts of the countryside and stuff like that, Wakanda still looks great. And then even when we get to the part of like that of Namor and the Tokukan, as they are called, they have like, just an ominous presence themselves, especially like the Tokukan, because it's like, I truly applaud Ryan Coogler for what he can do when it comes to cultural representation. Because between this, the first Black Panther, and even other little Disney projects like Shang-Chi and even the Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus, Disney Marvel has always done a great job on cultural representation. There's nothing stereotypical happening in there. All the culture is, being brought to the limelight, just showing them everybody in their greatness and be like, hey, we are not monoliths of our own culture. We are more than what, the rest of the world want to proclaim us to be. And I always love that, Andrea. And I applaud Ryan Coogler once again for doing that one more time. So I like the fact that also too, to make Namor even more unique, they went with the Aztec origin as opposed to the usual old school origin that we grew up with, whether it was comic book animation wise or whatever, because they didn't want to make them too much similar to what they did for Jason Momoa and Aquaman, which is totally understood.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so it's like I love that. And I don't want to mess up this man's name. I believe it's Tanaquerta. Yeah, his name is Tanaquerta. And shout out to that man for portraying Namor like he did, because it was like he was ominous, but he was kind of chill at the same time too. You know what I mean?
And charismatic.
Right. He was ominous, chill, and yet charismatic all in one. And I always like that fact because it's like everybody expect your villains to be like rah rah, just all
or mustache twirling.
Exactly. And it's like over the years, especially in some like Disney projects, we've seen that hey, your villains ain't gotta be like that. They could be just cool and calm as a cucumber, but they'll let you know one way or another you're gonna catch yours because it's like, hey, try and be cool, try and be nice. But see, that's another thing that I kind of brings up too, where it's like, do we see Namor as a villain or is he more anti-hero? Because of course, mainly in the books, like I said, that we've come up with, he's been portrayed more as anti-hero because yes, there have been times where he's gone against, like, say, the Fantastic Four or sometimes Iron Man, such. And then again, we've also seen him team up with, like, Captain America. They were part of a team at one point in time. Spider-Man on occasion, Hulk even. So it's like, how would you say his portrayal in the movie is compared to what we've come up with?
I would lean towards anti-hero, but I even take it a step further. Just that he was just a antagonist, because I never felt he was evil. I
Mhm.
did not 100% feel like he was wrong. Like, all his motivation was to protect his people.
Right.
He'll do what he needs to do to protect his people, no matter what it is, whether we like it or not. And his people are a huge threat. Like, I don't mess with them folks. They are, all of them are strong, super strong. Maybe as strong as, say, almost as the Hulk. They live underwater with their pressurized water, makes them super strong. When they get on the land, they have a siren song that hypnotizes, that force you to commit suicide, and they use vibranium. I don't want to fight these people.
Yeah.
And Namor just show, like, yo, we live under the sea. This is our people, and I don't want the surface world to know about us, because I know what the surface world is capable of, rather than not know. And, like, of course, we're going to have to handle them. So, yeah, I think I more maybe didn't like his motivation, but him as a character, I couldn't say he was evil, and maybe more antagonist and anti-hero. But yeah, I kind of think he leans in those lines. But, like, being a bad guy, not really.
Right. Now, and I will say this much, like, when you mentioned the siren song stuff, when that stuff was first happening, I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? And then when I saw what was happening with the soldiers and stuff, I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
Because it reverts back to, I want to say something back in mythological times where they did something similar to that, where I forgot who it was that did that same type of siren song type thing, where they would put someone in a trance, and then, like, we mentioned in the movie that we would commit suicide, or where they would do something where they were rendered, like, paralyzed or unconscious or something like that. So,
right.
The fact that they added in that element was kind of wild, but it also shows that, there's a semi-magical element to the Tokukan people. And of course, as you see in the movie, they almost pretty much have a similar backstory to that of the Wakandans, which I found interesting as well.
Oh, and there's a ton of them down there too. Yes, another.
Oh yeah.
I don't fight them folks. No.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care if I got a handful of Avengers on my side. I'm like, we ain't doing this.
And they have vibranium on top of that.
Right. I'm like, we ain't doing this.
I
don't care if we got Star Tech. I don't care if we got outer space tech from the Guardians. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing this one.
And have water explosives, and water grenades. Yeah.
Some people say that they use just straight up water balloons, but water balloons, water grenades, yeah.
Water explosives. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm running. It's like, that's one water balloon fight I will gladly lose. Yeah, I'm bowing out. No, thank you. But I mean, we've had a lot of interesting appearances also in this. Because I mean, I already aforementioned Riri Williams. And speaking of some of the MCU shows, we had one appearance. And speaking of Falcon and Winter Soldier, by the way, we had one appearance from little Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I forgot her character's name, but if y'all seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know what I'm talking about.
Vanessa Fontaine.
There you go.
Contessa Valentine.
Contessa. There you go. And there was an interesting dynamic between her and Everett Ross. And spoiler alert, by the way, if we didn't mention that before, but her and Everett Ross used to be a thing.
Right. Different from the comics, where in the comics, that was Nick Fury's wife in the comic books.
Right. So the fact that, that was implemented to the storyline was quite interesting, because it trips me out from, like, in the first movie, everybody, well, not everybody, but some folks want to pull off this thing about Ever Ross being the white savior of Black Panther, which was some BS.
He
And
was
it's
going to help save the world.
right. It's
Yeah.
like, come on now. Let's not go there. But in this movie, he shows and proves that he's just a loyal ally for the most part.
Yeah.
He's not up here trying to grandstand. He's not up here trying to, move his muscle unless he necessarily needs to. It's just, hey, it's like he was in a tight bind. It's like if he can, relay Queen Ramonda and Shuri and everybody else, in type of intel that was needed. Vanessa Fontaine was like, sorry, what'd you say? What? This is what we're doing? I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah, and being the voice of reason in the room, where they were like, "Oh, we need to go check Wakanda." He's like, no, that's not a good idea. Like, no, like, why are we doing this? And on top of that, they have this metal, and they're being gracious. Look what they could be doing with this. Why they don't want nobody to have it because of actions like this. Like, no, there's no reason to run up on Wakanda like that.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much how some of these things go when it comes to Ever Ross. Now, the part that a couple of things we need to pinpoint out. What do you think, or how do you think was Letitia Wright, aka Shuri's overall performance was by trying to be like the next unlikely leader of Wakanda?
I think her performance was great. She was really like that character grew from the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything she had to do, and she's still kind of very reluctant. Like she didn't believe in all the stuff. She's a woman of science. She believes in science and reason. All the mystical stuff she was never down for.
Right.
Didn't even believe in it. And she even got bestowed the Black Panther mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And still kind of doesn't want him, but she takes it anyway because it's a call to action with her mother dying because she lost almost her entire family. So that's her call to action to become the Black Panther. And I still think there's more story to tell because she saw Killmonger in her vision and wouldn't tell anybody. So she's full of anger and rage, and rightfully so. That's a very interesting dynamic. And I kind of think she's going to be more of a reluctant hero to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see down the line how they handle that, but that's what I think is going to happen. Like, if she's full of anger and rage, and again, rightfully so, and she's trying to learn how to not let it consume her, like something they touched upon when the Black Panther first appeared in Captain America: Civil War, when T'Challa wanted to avenge his father's death.
Right.
So,
now, based off how I see it and check it out, I agree with most of the points that you had aforementioned. Yes, there was reluctancy in terms of, whatever leadership skills she tried to bestow upon the Wakandans and like M'Baku and such, who also was a kind of like a voice of reason in her ear. Because it's like, hey, I understand how you're feeling, I understand what you're going through, but try to keep it clear here when you're, taking on this position because no, it's not going to be easy, but at the same time, you can't just go in headstrong doing whatever, because if you do that, your mind's going to be clouded, and the more is going to get at you, and Wakanda is going to be in bad shape. So you got to have a real clear conscience of what you're doing and how you're going about things if you're going to take on this role.
right.
Now, the one thing I do have slight criticism about, or one of my big criticisms is, I don't know if I totally agree with the deletion of Queen Ramonda.
Uh,
I don't know if I agree with that, because now if they did it to where she was morally wounded while trying to save Riri Williams from getting, for being drowned and such, and she's like rendered unconscious or put in a coma or something like that, I kind of would have been okay with that. but to like just kill her off like that, because not even Angela Bassett was on board with it at first. She's like, what we doing here?
But
That's why I was.
Fury's call to action. Not saying I agree or disagree with it, but I understand people's sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really taken a position on it. I never really thought about it that way. But I can see why, because when it happened, I was extremely shocked. I'm like, whoa, they didn't kill the queen. Like, whoa.
Right. I'm like, okay, yeah.
That's like her call to action, and I just see what they do, in the future.
Uh-oh. I think we got another guest popping up here.
Do we now?
I believe this is Mr. Cos G.
That Cosmos Galactus?
Sir Cos G, are you there, sir?
His ominous presence is just he has to make an entrance first.
we'll give him a hot minute. We give him a hot minute.
Okay.
But no, I was just gonna say, like, because based off how they kind of made Shuri out with just throwing her into the position like that, I'm gonna get a little more nerdy about it, because this is what we do here from time to time. I almost feel like there's a little bit of a Rodimus Prime energy there. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a special guest popping up with us, fellow Fly Nerd Group Blurred, fellow brethren, Mr. Cos G. We're gonna let him get the audio together first. Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, it's audio, man.
Yeah, give him a hot minute there.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna give him a little minute though. But
after technical difficulty. But you were saying that Shuri gives you the Rodimus Prime vibes.
Yeah, it kind of gave me the Rodimus Prime vibes for a minute, because for those of y'all who follow Transformers or after the Transformers movie from '86.
Hello,
Brother Kaz, what's happening?
All right, I'm back. Yo, what up?
What up? So, ladies and gentlemen, we got all right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, we got Mr.
Y'all keep talking. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
We got Mr. Cos G up in here from Fly Nerd Group with us. One of our brethren up in here. We just talking about jumped in on the whole Shuri part of how I think they gave a little bit of that Rodimus Prime energy in terms of the whole leadership part of it or what have you. So if you want to just, jump in, just let us know what you think about how Shuri's portrayal was in the movie.
Shuri in the Black Panther?
Yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Well, we didn't really talk about this on the Fly Nerd yet. Well, we talked about it, but we didn't really go into depth. As far as I feel about, just Wakanda Forever in general,
okay,
I think it was a dope movie. I think it was solid for Phase 4. It's a good way to close it out.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, that I liked about it was the tone.
Right.
It was very serious. It was no jokey jokes. It was no, hijinks, anything like that. It was straight story, solid story from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think I had this conversation with Maxie years ago, because, when Chadwick Boseman passed, we all was like, well, who's going to be Black Panther? And it wasn't, Shuri becomes that in the comic books, and which is true, but we didn't get enough story of T'Challa for that transition, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And due off to unforeseen circumstances, we have to do what we do. So I had a conversation with Maxie. Y'all know Maxie.
Mr.
When that was announced, and was like, all right, so Shuri, if they're gonna move the mantle to Shuri, can Letitia Wright handle carry us, you know? And at the time we was like, nah, you know what I mean? Nah. And after I stayed like that till I saw the movie, and let me just say, Letitia Wright as Shuri is dope.
Okay.
I love her portrayal as Shuri since the first movie and so forth. You know what I mean? But her as Black Panther was cool,
right.
but it didn't really put me in the place of like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, it's about here
what
comes
take the carry the
Shuri.
torch, right?
Nah, I think it's still, I mean, for me, I don't want to sound like a male chauvinistic or nothing like that, but it's about mass and everything too. I don't think Letitia Wright physically is intimidating in a way. You know what I mean? And you know, and I only want to sound like, let's say Dora Milaje, all the ladies that's cast for them, it's like, okay, they're gonna come and handle business. You see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she come in and be like, yo, she about to handle some business. I didn't see that with Letitia Wright. And that's the unfortunate thing that I have about the movie, is the fact that I don't think Letitia Wright physically look up to par as the Black Panther. Right. And like when she was fighting Namor stabbed her with his spear. Like,
Namor went in.
I was like, oh, you know. So I mean, I was like, you know, because it's funny because they said it's an internet rumor, of course, but the lineup for the Avengers is gonna be like Shuri, Shang-Chi, Captain America, you know, not Steve Rogers, but Sam. And I think a couple other people. And I looked at that list. I was like, oh boy, Kang gonna have a ball with y'all.
Right, I know. I was like,
Kang about to wrap y'all up. Right. I don't see nothing. No one's stopping him at this point. So yeah, and that's the thing for me. I really enjoyed the movie. I like her as Shuri. I really enjoy her as Shuri. But when it comes to like just the Black Panther, I need to see more. I need to see more to be like, okay, she really doing it. Because the Shuri journey was very dope in the movie. I really liked the journey. I liked her journey. And, you know, from her status of being frustrated, and even like when she went back, she was expecting to see ancestors, but she just saw Killmonger. And Killmonger was like, well, we on the same vibe. That's why you seeing me and not them, because, you know, T'Challa was too humble.
Exactly.
You out here, you want revenge and shit just like me, you know? So that was very interesting. I liked everything, but just when she was Black Panther, I was like, oh, I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know, fam. I don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying on that. And it's like, you know, kind of like explained with Corey, is like when she got thrown into that spot, and especially with, you know, the deletion of Queen Ramonda, which I was still on the fence with it on that. It's like, you know, I was saying that I was getting Rodimus Prime energy in terms of that, of the leadership thing, you know what I mean? And like I was telling Corey before you popped up, how M'Baku was trying to like buzz in the ear, like, hey, you can't just jump headstrong and certain stuff. You gotta go with a clear conscience. Otherwise, you're gonna be Wakanda's downfall if you know, go in on some hardcore revenge stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was that. One thing that kind of grind my gears a little bit too. Another thing besides the deletion and Queen Ramonda, the Riri Williams character, I didn't dislike her totally, but I think she didn't have to be as much of an intricate part as she was in the movie. Even though it was cool to see Ironheart suit and stuff like that. What's you all's thoughts on about, you know, her portrayal in the movie?
She was my one negative movie. Kind of link. Like if she had only one scene, they saw her to college and that's it, and put her to the side the rest of the movie.
That would be my point exactly. Right.
I know why they did what they were doing. And again, this movie is pretty stellar. But I can only really count the one thing I had an issue with. It was a problem, and even then, I feel like that's a nitpick. But I know Marvel's trying to set her up for her show,
right?
But Marvel find a way to they got time because they're giving her a show, because that character, at least to my knowledge, she had a very rough launch, and trying to get her likable and successful. They haven't even done that in the comic yet. So hopefully that can get dealt with when she get a show. But in the film, I felt like, her being there, if she would only had one scene in the college and that was it. You take her out the rest of the movie, she wouldn't have made any difference. It's not a knock on the actor or anything, or even the characters, the way they just crafted the movie that
right,
way.
exactly.
And I was going to say back to the Shuri thing really quickly. I don't think she's going to be the ruler of Wakanda. I think M'Baku may end up being king, and maybe that role is reversed where she does the technical stuff and protects the country. He runs it. Well, I'm totally wrong on this how they set it up where she's queen. I have no idea. That's my guess for what I think is going on. But go ahead, Kaz. What are your thoughts?
In regards to Riri, she wasn't really a problem to me in the movie. I didn't really have a problem with her because I just know what they're going to do with her. Right. They're definitely going to do the series, which is already filmed. Eve Ewing was here a couple days ago, and she talked about the show a little bit, and that the filming is done, and that they're ready to do some post-production stuff like that. So yeah,
They filmed it here, right?
Yeah, they filmed some of it here. I don't know the percentage of how much of the film was shot here or the series was shot here, but yeah, they're done with their Chicago scenes. I would rather say that. And as far as her in the movie, I didn't really have a problem with her because actually she was kind of the comedy light in the movie. Like since you said it was a serious tone, you need someone to come in and crack some jokes because that movie was intense for the first hour. So you need something to come and break something. So that was Riri. And she didn't really bother me in the movie. I didn't like her armor effect. I think they could have did something a little bit more special in regards to the design because it looked a little too kiddie-ish, you know what I mean? And even though she's a kid, but it looked a little too kiddie-ish. But I hope what they do with her is include her into the Armor Wars and have her something involved in have her involved in that. So Marvel do things and set pieces for future things. So she didn't bother me in the movie because her acting was good. It was and she was the comic relief for most part. So it really didn't bother me. I think we're gonna get more of her story in a series, and that's why I knew in my head it was like, all right, they just introducing her here. Just like they did Black Panther and Civil War. And then once we got to his movie, we got to see who T'Challa really is. And I think that's what we're going to do with Riri. And I hope that leads into Armor Wars or some other dope shit.
Well, the show will be like a direct sequel to Wakanda Forever from those events. So that show's going to be like directly tied into that. And I'm guessing that Don Cheadle's going to show up in her show too and deleting the Armor Wars.
Yeah, because in case everybody doesn't know, Armor Wars was originally supposed to be another series, but now they're switching it to being a movie.
To a movie.
So,
that's right. It is. So well, I hope it just leads. Well, that'll be a series that'll lead to a movie, and that's usually what they do. So hopefully you'll have some ties to that.
Or she may be in it. They may have something to do with all the Stark tech out in the world and. That's my guess. What Armor Wars is going to be.
What's some more Stark tech?
Yeah.
Because they didn't really, and that's what some people was complaining about, and I agree with that. The Stark tech or the Stark influence wasn't really mentioned in what she's doing. You know what I mean? Stark wasn't really talked about at all. And I know it's Wakanda is not really that. It doesn't ask for that. So hopefully in the series. She could expound more on the Stark influence, and I just really hope because wasn't she part of the Wakanda program at the end of the movie? So did they really?
No,
No, I mean the first part 1, Black Panther 1.
No,
she wasn't.
No.
I thought they started a program in California. And
they did. They did,
but she wasn't a part of that.
No.
Oh. Well, I think they should have pushed. If they pushed that, then that would have made more sense to me and connected everything.
And again, she came from MIT. Was part of the Stark's his special.
Well, yeah, there you go. Right.
So,
so there's that. How you all think portrayal of M'Baku went, even though he wasn't as prominent as he could have been in the movie? How you think his portrayal went?
I loved M'Baku ever since he had. Once again, he stole. I actually either he made me laugh or he became almost like sometimes the smartest guy in the room, which shocked me.
Right.
Which I think that's kind of like the vibe they give off even from the first film. It's like he's more than what he really seems. Although he seems like really brutish and brash, but like I did dig that he became Shuri's counsel.
Right.
And like, told us like we can't kill this man because this is their god, it's not their general, not their king. This is their god. We kill this dude, we be fighting these folks forever.
Oh yeah.
So I dug M'Baku. I kind of wanted more M'Baku in the movie.
I like M'Baku. I like him a lot. Cool. That's my dude, man. When he be into it, I be like, yo, this dude is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think in Wakanda Forever, it was a lack of M'Baku. Some say he should have been Black Panther. I think it was a lot of lack of, and when they used him for that litmus strength test. So everyone punch him. If you could punch him, then you look tough on screen or something. So
I almost thought he was out of there when Namor punched him in the chest.
See. But M'Baku got hands too, you know what I
right,
mean?
Exactly.
He helped wipe out Thanos and them. He was helping.
Right, he was like running.
I mean?
When they had the big thing in Endgame, he was running side by side with
he
Hulk
was
and Thor.
in.
He was like, "Let's get it,
swing it, got hands."
Right.
So I wish they would have used him a little bit more in Wakanda Forever. But I see what the drive was after you watch the movie. It's like, yeah, okay, well.
But even then, he almost steals every scene he's in, practically.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Like, even though he was there in small doses, he just takes a scene and just
Yeah, that's a good thing. So, I don't know if they're going to do the Wakanda series, but if they do, he should get more shine.
Yeah, I'm hearing there is still talk of the Wakanda series, so it still could be happening.
That's dope.
So we'll wait and see on that one. Of course, we already mentioned about how Dora Milaje, they pretty much did their thing or whatever. How do you all think of Nakia and Okoye, their roles, as opposed to what they did in like the first movie?
Kaj, you want to take that one first?
Nakia really didn't do shit to me. Lupita looked good though. Ooh, she's a wonderful specimen. However, Nakia, then what did she do? I vaguely remember. What did she do? She went down there.
Yeah, she went to Tokyo-Con, helped got out Shuri and Riri.
Yeah, she helped get out Shuri and them. Yeah, and then she presented little baby T'Challa, little baby T'Challa. That's important. I think that aspect, because a lot of people were saying, well, what if we're never going to see T'Challa and Storm? Well, if they cast Storm as a young girl, this could be the actual relationship that could develop, from that. So, I think that element is cool. But Nakia, as far as just like a character in the movie Wakanda, she was laid back. They didn't call her until they needed something. So she was chilling anyway. And she was hiding because she had the shorty. She couldn't be.
Right, exactly. She couldn't be in action like she usually was.
Yeah, so it was cool. She all right. But shout out to Lupita, though. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
I agree, brother. I agree.
Yes.
Now, speaking of young little T'Challa or what have you, now I know people had their little criticisms about so what they gonna do with him like that, and you mentioned one aspect that would be cool, Cos, and that is to have young him and young Storm, or another aspect we can think of. I don't know if this would be doing a little bit too much. Maybe possibly some kind of time jump of sorts. Where
now that's something, but damn, dude, because I feel like Wakanda Forever came out and shit, right? But I mean, like, Black Panther was blipped for 5 years.
True.
And that story, that wasn't even told in the movie of how the Wakanda people restructured and rebuild after the attack from
T'Challa
Thanos.
was gone.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or why T'Challa was gone. That would have been a good opportunity to do this movie and then bring the Black Panther, some new version of them or something. Like, oh yeah, the multiverse is a wacky place, guys.
Right,
you know,
right.
But, you know, they skipped a whole lot of narrative with this movie.
Skip that part. I still think there's a lot of story to be told. That 5 years, during the snap, what was going on in the world, maybe the universe, that 5 year gap, what was going on. But it looks like they're not really going to delve into that. Fine, I guess I get it. They're going to move forward from that. But I
think that narrative alone could have been a lot of series on Disney Plus instead of trying to push that bullshit. They could have just did the 5 year gap show and then just showed all the results of how people had to restructure. They did a little bit of it in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's why I really like that series.
Yeah.
Even after the snap, they kind of talked about it. I actually thought Hawkeye was going to deal with that because Hawkeye was like murking people after the snap.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
and Quiet Cap.
Yeah,
and Quiet Cap. I wouldn't mind an episode of that where he just went to his full structure.
Yeah, and they really told why he did it. Like,
right.
Oh, okay, I'm about to
strap
up. I'm about to
on
go.
the Hawkeye series. You know what I mean?
That was lackluster as well. They was missing. Yeah, but they definitely missed Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. The T'Challa Storm thing, I kind of don't care anymore now. If they do it, cool. If not, I don't think it's important anymore. Because now, I mean, if Chad was still alive, I could see them doing it. But with everything being changed up, I kind of don't even care for it now. It's just not important to me. And the other characters to me are just more important than just putting Storm together. But that's just me. I'm probably in the minority with that.
Well, I think of narrative, and fans do request that. There'll be a good time to do it because Chadwick is gone. You know what I mean? So, you can't really tell the stories you want to tell about T'Challa with T'Challa because T'Challa's actually gone. They could have recast him, but they didn't. They let him pass, the character pass, and they still have all this tons of narrative of what they could do with the male version of the Black Panther, right?
Now,
so,
I guess like they do is just do a teenage Aurora.
But I think they're doing the Young Avengers because every Avenger got a young version of them. Even Hulk with his slow ass son and shit. Fuck around with your son, nigga. Take him back.
I'm just saying, Avengers. Since,
I think they're developing the Young Avengers, and a lot of that storyline could come along with it. And I think with the X-Men or the mutants or what they're going to do, I think they're going to start off young. They're going to have, I don't think we're going to get the typical X-Men story. I think we're going to get some old grass-rooted, like how they threw Spider-Man in the mix, and he just young with the power. I think a lot of these mutants going to come up young with the power. And once they get older, we get to see character development and things of that nature. But I think that's how they're going to execute. It's just cause speculation.
I think it's going to be more. I've told some of my friends, like, be prepared. When X-Men come, there probably won't be 100% like it was from the comic and the cartoon. Prepare for a semi-different X-Men. Don't be shocked.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be the Wolverine show like it was with the Fox movie.
Nah, I don't want that. And that was the problem with it. It was like I love the X-Men. I like some of the X-Men movies, but I do like the movies like what was that?
First Class.
First Class.
Mm-hmm.
First Class.
Yeah.
First Class. Yeah, that was X-Men 2 was dope to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, X-Men 2 was dope to me. That's the Nightcrawler when he went crazy on the president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went buck. That opening scene was hard. So, there's a few X-Men I like, but it did become the Wolverine show because he's the most popular one, of course. But it's so many. That's what I'm saying. It's so many X-Men. If they really go obscure with it, dude, they'll have endless content for years. This is way more X-Men than Avengers.
Way more X-Men.
Yeah.
Multiple Man alone could be a series.
You know?
they're probably
without even fighting enemies. He could just be himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like some multiplicity type shit.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I mean? Yeah. So I mean,
so Legion's show was pretty dope. It was
Mm.
out there. It was really dope.
A what show?
Legion's show. It was a
Oh
Fox.
yeah.
Show was dope.
Yeah. But there's so many factions. It's like X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, Excalibur. You know, it's a Excalibur might go hard. They do the Lord of the Rings type vibe with it. Yeah, it's so many things they could do with the mutants. So I don't think we're going to get the typical mansion, X-Mansion yet. I think it's going to be like home base. I think Magneto going to be.
I think we're going to get a man. Although I do think they may switch a few things up, I think we'll probably at least get the mansion and the X-Jet.
Okay.
I think those staples at least.
Okay. I rock with that.
And although I am tired of fighting Magneto.
Yeah, switch it up. Please switch it up. Because we've yet to see Mr. Sinister on screen. We've yet to see Omega Red.
Right.
We need some more people other than Magneto and Sabretooth.
Nod in Deadpool 2?
Say what?
Did we get Omega Red nod or a cameo in Deadpool 2?
I want to say, it's one of those you got to look real close type things.
I don't remember Omega Red. It was probably mentioned. It was probably a side joke. So I can see him say, "What you Omega Red?" I can see him say some slide, but I don't know.
Right.
Deadpool 2 was okay to me. So
okay, it's fine. It's okay. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was okay. I don't really remember it too hard. Fun. So.
But yeah, I every film they did with Magneto, if he shows up, fine. But they got to bring something really, really good to the table and mix it up. That's something I need. But yeah, the Magneto thing needs a small break for me. But obviously,
I want to see X-Men get to the point where the gold team and blue team, where the gold team is handling business and the blue team is handling business over there in the Savage Lands over here. The gold team somewhere else over here in the city. Tearing up the Brotherhood, evil mutants. Like I want to see all of that elements, and we gotta stay alive. That's like 20 years of filmmaking alone, right there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah, we got really get the cooking, stay healthy to see all this content.
Absolutely. Couple more things I want to rock with before we kind of end it. We've come across a lot of stuff, kind of jumping back on Wakanda Forever a bit, though. We've come across a lot of the crazy scrutiny that's been running around online and such. Like, the whole recast T'Challa stuff, of course, people are 50-50 on that. And we've also had our own personal theories when it came to that. But then again, too, when people, and sadly, when it comes from other men, other black men, especially who want to deem this movie as being misandrous or, jokingly referring to it as Woman King 2 and stuff like that. Like, I think it's a bunch of BS malarkey because it's like, how are we going to sit up here and talk about, letting women be great or black women be great if we're going to, crap on a movie like this or Woman King where, they're prominently featured. Like they don't have a right to have their platform. What's your all's thoughts on some of the criticisms that have been popped up on that?
I heard some really silly ass things said online. It just kind of shakes my head. Watching this film, I never felt like the black men were pushed to the side or were not as good as like even going in. I've told people, I said the main character that's left is mostly, is T'Challa's mother, his sister, his wife, Ajay. The only man left as part of the main cast was M'Baku. That's what the story's going to be about and be around. And I wasn't surprised. I don't know why people think they're going to all of a sudden bring some random guy to come in to take over, which makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a good job with the characters and story being told. And the whole movie is under the shadow of T'Challa's absence, and the movie makes you feel that. But I never felt like it made anybody felt inadequate. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm like, are y'all watching the same movie that we watching? Because I didn't even see that.
That's what I'm saying.
I was cool with the whole thing. I even heard people say, "Oh, well, you know, how these women gonna fight these dudes and whatnot," and the dudes when dudes near as weak, it's like, excuse me, did y'all see the same movie when the Wakanda fought the Namor's people? They were losing multiple times. The final battle, they almost lost.
And when you bring the same movie. And real quick, when you bring that up, Corey, when I hear stuff like that, that tells you one thing. They ain't real fans. They just want to shoot their shit, talk their shit, because they want to get their little YouTube AdSense money or get their little Patreon money or whatever like that for whoever supports the little, you know, I hate to bring it up, but sorry, not sorry, the little conservative BS that they want to, you know, try to put forth. And it's just like, come on, y'all. Or if y'all really follow these characters and you follow these storylines like you claim you do, you should know, A, everything's not going to be 100% comic book accurate. B, they got to make some kind of sense to where, you know, even if we get it, they don't want to, you know, your core audience to be thrown off by. So it's like all this agenda talk, all this little, Wakanda Forever, some Sanders talk and stuff like that. It's like, go ahead, get the hell up out of here with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, go ahead, bro.
The movie is strongly women's led. I don't have a problem with black women. So when I see black women on screen like that, to me, it's a beauty and it's a privilege for me to see that. Right. I stated my opinion about Shuri as Black Panther. I wasn't too sold on it, I would rather say.
I got you.
But the Dora Milaje is all women and they all kick ass. And if you haven't watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, when they went in and swept up the room, like, dude, how they checked US agent, bro, like a power shot of how he was powering over them, talking his trash. And then at the end of the scene, he's kneeled down and she's overpowering, flipping, holding his shield in his hand. That's a power shot, bro. Yep. And that showed the power and how it was switched that quick after they came up and cleaned up that scene. That's a force to be reckoned with. That's I love to see that. I have no problem with it. I did say M'Baku had short, limited time, but it was part of the story. I am not mad at the story because then you see Namor and he got all the time he needed. You know what I mean? So you know it was well balanced in regards to story, and it had to be driven because the leading male character has passed away. Right. And you know, T'Challa, he have to, or Milaje, that's his security. Yep. So who's gonna run the second string is the women. You know what I mean? So it just makes sense. So, you know, I didn't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with women in movies and being superheroes and leading the movie. As long as the story is good and the movie is good, then I fucks with it. I don't care. I'm rooting for whoever. You know, I root for John Wick and Halle Berry in the movie. You know what I mean? Halle Berry was putting in that work. She was handing them guns and them dogs. It was like some video game shit. She was cold as hell in that movie. So I don't have a problem with women. I don't have a problem with women on screen. I'm a filmmaker. I would rather make movies with women than dudes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, women, fuck that, man.
Because I was going to say.
All them suckers who saying that shit, you want to see men in tights? Keep going on. Go ahead. We good.
Now, at the end of the day, I just want good characters and good story. And
that's it.
If it's good, I'll talk about it. If it's bad, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna call out what I see as I see it. And I see a lot of the BS online. Again, if it's good, I'm gonna talk about the good. If it's bad, I'll talk about the bad.
And I'll just say this much to kind of close it out. Like you brothers right here, I ain't got no issue with it. We've all grown up on the likes of Star Wars, Superman, stuff like that for eons, for these past few decades. And of course, you know, even though we've rooted and cheered for all these type of characters and such, of course, there have been from time to time something in the back of my mind be like, I like to see us represent the same way as well, whether it's in those movies or in our own kind of movies. Fast forward to the years that we have now, we have this opportunity thanks to the late great Stan Lee and others who believe in everybody having a chance to save the day or be the hero or be a heroine, a king or queen or something like that, to do the damn thing that look like us. And it's like, now you want to have naysayers all of a sudden like that want to just try to crap because they're in their feelings about oh, it doesn't make any sense or it's too woke and all this other dead jazz. Well, if you had a problem like that, then you would have had a problem with every other protagonist, say like in a horror movie, because what's the majority protagonists in horror movies? Women, and they end up being the damn survivors. If this was such a big issue, you would have had a problem with the likes of Ellen Ripley, who was a non-military trained space engineer who beat a xenomorph 4 times. You would have a problem with Sarah Connor, who was a daggone waitress who end up beating, Terminator.
Terror, like assassin, bro.
I watched Terminator when I was a kid. As far as I don't know, guys said nothing about a problem with Linda Hamilton ever.
Or Sigourney Weaver.
Nev Campbell from Scream.
Nev Campbell. Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Right, yeah.
Freddy 2 or 3 other times.
Yeah.
It was like all this hubbub and jazz about, having women characters at the forefront, being all overpowerful and stuff like that. And it's all of a sudden woke. It's a bunch of BS. And it's like, to all those naysayers, it's like I said before, I'll say it again, y'all ain't real fans. Y'all just want to get your little AdSense money from YouTube, Patreon, wherever like that. Push a little BS narrative to make, your zaddies happy and get your little money from them and whatever. So it's like, you don't like it, by all means, don't watch it. Go ahead, go ahead, cancel your Disney Plus subscription. Go ahead, tear down your little Marvel stuff. Make your little 100,000 videos on why this and that and woke and such and how people shouldn't watch it.
And make a think piece about the next Marvel property for whatever reason. You need think pieces to see if you want to see a Marvel film or not.
And at the end of the day, we know good and well you talk all this jazz, but low key, some way, somehow, you're still gonna watch it.
Well, I can see all the criticism, but hey, man, I mean, I don't really be cheering for corporations and stuff, but Iger is back. And he usually, when he's running the show, he lets the creatives. That's how we got that good run to Endgame, was because Iger let the creatives create. Right. So I think Phase 4 was a lot of BS because there was the other person at the helm who wasn't in for the creators, more of corporate, and that's just the difference. So that's why we suffered through Phase 4. But I think Phase 5 is looking very promising, man. From QuantaVision on down, this Kang gonna be an issue. And if Jonathan Majors was right, he should have signed multiple movie deals because he could come back at any time. He can never die. So I think that's gonna be dope. And with Fantastic Four, Doom is coming eventually. There's a lot of dope shit that we're gonna be able to see. And then there's the mutants, Magneto, the most powerfulest mutant. Most powerfulest dude ever, period. You know what I mean? Like, he a serious dude.
And let's hope and pray, and no knock against James Marsden, because I got nothing but love for James Marsden, but let's hope and pray we actually can get a decent Cyclops this go around.
Give Cyclops some screen time. Jeez. I'll take
make him an actual reason why he's the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah, you need the definition. And really put him out there. Like, Cyclops cold as hell. Cyclops got hands too. You don't want to fuck with Cyclops. So I hope they do him right and just don't latch on the relationship with him and Jean, because he's bigger. Right. You know what I mean? He's much bigger than. Actually, I want to see the Cyclops that go crazy for a second. They catch the Phoenix and
go a
little like Magneto-ish. I want to see that Cyclops, the edgy Cyclops as well. So I like those, the valiant, stolic Cyclops, you know what I mean? The 90s Cyclops, but I want the edgy one too. So I hope they really develop him.
Build the character in the movie because he never got a shot. In every film, he got less and less screen time, more story to build anything.
Because Cyclops is a boring character. I mean, that's why I say he's stolid. But they never really got into the Summers family, and that's what is missing. They never got into Havoc. They never got into Cable. They never got into like the real Summers family line that really can develop these characters and make you like Scott Summers even more. But they never did that. They never had a Havoc and Cyclops big epic fight where they tearing up everything, but they can't fade each other. You know what I mean?
He got less and less screen time every film to even get to know the character in the first place.
Because, I mean, and then you got to think about it too. These movie writers were just movie writers. It wasn't people that was really into the comic books that knew these characters as well. So it's like what they see is what you get kind of basis here. And they went, oh, Halle Berry is Storm. So let's give her more. Let's sell the ticket. You know what I mean? We're going to give her more time. Patrick Stewart is Professor X, so we give him more time. And, of course, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Now it's Wolverine and the X-Men now, rather than the full scope of things. And I think that's what Marvel is going to encapsulate, is the full scope. Give us in depth about Beast. Give us Iceman. Give us, you know what I mean? Give us these real, Gambit, like do it real Rogue. Yeah, Rogue, like the whole nine. But yeah, that's the X-Men.
Exactly. For sure. So I know we went on a little tirade and all that, but we do what we do around here. But for the people that are watching, Brother Kaz, tell them about Fly Nerd Group briefly. Tell them what we do and tell them what we can possibly have going on for 2023.
Fly Nerd is a movement, and it's definitely is something that you should tune into. It's the culmination of culture enthusiasts, artists, creatives, and just fly nerds, just fly folks that just get together and we chop it up about shit that we just did for our past hour or so. You know what I mean? So, we got podcasts popping. We just revamping the podcast. The F&G podcast will come back to life. We're doing another podcast on Scripted Nonsense with K-Max, Ambi Warhol, myself. The F&G podcast is myself, Ambi, Maxie, Coaches, and you guys too. We feature episodes as well. And we just spreading the news. Is edutainment been missing from just from shit in general, So we're bringing that back. We're bringing the dope stuff about Black exploitation back. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things about Black culture that's and Black media, and we cover all of those, that scope in 2023. We definitely gonna be hitting y'all hard with content.
For sure.
From toy photography, everything, man. It's like, Fly Nerd Group is the place where you could do and be what you want, and there's no judgment, man. You just down with us.
Just come positive. Just come have a good time. Come to learn.
Yeah.
Just come to enjoy yourselves.
Or come to teach. You know what I mean? It's all of that. If you a nerd in photography, you a nerd in music, you a nerd in production, whatever, man. It takes it. It's bigger than just talking about comic books and all that shit.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? I want to talk to the people who create that shit. Like Corey, you're an illustrator. You know what I mean? I mean, not illustrator. He's a colorist. You know what I mean? So, I want to get involved into those conversations of how it create these parables, these books that pretty much forever. You know what I mean? Like, the shit is dope, man. So, that's the Fly Nerd Group. I could talk about Fly Nerd Group that'll be another show. So
absolutely.
Let me shut up.
And that's something we can put in the bag for
Fly Nerd Group
right?
On Instagram and YouTube. Fly Nerd Primetime on YouTube. We're gonna have the podcast up on all the Spotify and all that good stuff coming soon too. So boom.
Absolutely.
I'm good. I'm out.
Ladies and gents, we are finna run up out of here. Peace to Brother Kaz G for joining us. But myself, Chauncey Craig Woodson, my man's Corey Green. Check us out. You can check us out on individual Instagram spaces. If you're involved in the Fly Nerd group already, we appreciate your time and energy per usual. Always check us out every other Sunday. We're taking a little bit of a winter sabbatical. I believe, like Kai said, in 2023, we're going to do what we do at the Haymarket Brewery over there at 737 West Randolph on Sundays. So once that get up and popping, we'll let you know. But we are doing what we're doing. We're going to get up out of here. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace and much love. And I hope you enjoyed this viewing here. So anything you guys say, CG, before we rock out?
Everyone have a happy holidays. We'll see you guys in 2023. Stay tuned on my social medias. I still post some content there with some toy videos, some clips from my stream, and I also stream on Twitch at least once or twice a week. Stay tuned there, and I'll see you guys pretty soon.
And I will be seeing you with a couple more future episodes before we rock out 2022, people. So until then, 2 finger salute and enjoy your Sunday.
Later.
All right.